Mr. Jesmed Suma, the acting or head, if I mistake in position, you can correct him when he talk, of the NGC party. So with the time for we'll get for talk today about the state of affairs, political affairs in Sierra Leone, and some way forward as in see the country, and some of the things that we will get for do for move forward. Because as soon I know, a lot of we believe say, not only have we been stagnant for so long, we don't really go backward in many respects. So we try to move forward. Yes, there may have been progress here and there, but collectively as a nation, lives of the people have not improved. And the country, no day, USA is supposed for day, and the cost of living is hard. So we'll go for touch on certain basis. As I always can say, when these things are pointed out, it is not in the form of criticizing the existing government, but instead we try to talk about the options that we're available to we. If one way no work, we'll try another way until we get to the proper way. Okay, so today I will make Mr. Suma and Mr. Mengot introduce themselves. Make them do that before I even tell you what the topic will be today. So, Mr. Suma, as we guess, so please just make your presence known and introduce yourself, sir.
Yes, good evening and good afternoon, Fambolem, all over the world. Mina Jesmed Fodimami Suma, the acting chairman and leader of the NGC party. Today, I do on this show for express some of the challenges that we don't observe in my past 10 or more years participating in the politics of Sierra Leone, where I believe say anybody will become a leader of Sierra Leone tomorrow, because this one don't pass. If you really mean well for transform the nation, and some of the ideas that we possibly present, one of the several things that we possibly observe, we may fit to say the person for transform the country. If you not do that, Salona will ever change.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Suma. Mr. Mengot, just you don't mind for introduce yourself. Not that you need any introduction, but just for announce your presence.
Well, Famulem, in a good afternoon or good evening for wherever you are. I mean, as you can see me, I talk to you from sorry, and just by the chokawa way, you will not see the weather, and I are not too friendly.
The weather
but cook. Yeah. So today, before we introduce the topic, at the camp, I've won several people that know me for different things. But one of the things that we all get in common here is we concern about governance system. And we'll talk about governance, we talk about the institutions, we talk about the three powers of government. And me and I one post read on the follow that keenly, and I get a large social media following in the form of the Sierra Leone Parliamentary Watch, because Parliament is central to our governance system. So what we discussed, I think I will bring in a lot of experience and share some knowledge about with Parliament elsewhere and how that relates to the other arms of government.
Thank you. So, one of the listeners then, make I just go over there numbers, how when I get reach how when I get comment, if when I get written comment or phone calls when I want to make, then I just go over the numbers or the sources or the medium, then we use for contact. And let me not forget, this is a VOS network, television network. All right. So if you call from North America, as usual, we entail the United States, Canada, and Mexico. We go, like for when I call the toll-free line, we're at 1-866-944-7722, 1-866-944-7722. And the reason for the toll-free, I think everybody now understands what's in the toll-free. The toll-free now phone number where you go call where you know will cost you. So if we put you on hold, like I can always say, we get to 3 minutes, or we give every guest, every caller, the opportunity for talk for as much as 3 minutes. So while you there, if you're not to the first caller, you and a caller after the first caller, depending on if everybody listen to the 3 minute rule, if you're not the second caller, you may have to hold for 3 or 4 minutes before we get to you. And then if you're not the fifth caller on hold, you're talking about some 15 minutes probably before we get to you. So we try to avoid that. So we always suggest, say, please, which everybody seems to be in compliance with. Nobody know they abuse the privilege, but sometimes some people go a little bit overboard. But people and they comply with the 3 minute rule. And we always say, if in 3 minutes you don't make all your points or all your questions not answered, or if you get any suggestions, just hang up. When the buzzer go off, hang up and call back. So that way they can keep the line moving. Because in between the calls them, we self get for answer questions, we get for make we own and give we own and comments them or analysis. So all that they add to the time where somebody hold. And we try as a courtesy to everybody, we try for avoid keeping somebody there on hold. Because people and they call from different circumstances. So Monday they drive in car, they go walk. So Monday they go shopping, but they listen to the show, then they call. You can't keep on the line for 15, 20 minutes holding, they go hang up. So because of that, we appreciate on our cooperation. So far, we not get no cause for complaint with the 3 minute rule. So the toll-free line, like I just mentioned, now 866-944-7722. If you call from England, there is an equivalent of a toll-free line, but now a local line, you could just call +44 20 80 89 1455, +44 20 80 89 1455. It don't cost you anything for call. And the same applies to Australia. If you call from Australia, now +61 29 09 84 337, +61 29 09 8337. Now, we'll get a universal line, no matter who side you call from. If you call any partner in the world, unless the government gets restrictions on that, now the WhatsApp line. From America, from any partner in the globe, you can call the WhatsApp line. And when I 1-343-997-5828. 1-343-997-5828. Okay, in addition to that, we'll get various medium then we're not going able to reach with. Because then they carry this show for we, Facebook, YouTube. So we'll get various platforms then we want to be able to reach with. Starting with YouTube, if you go on a VOS network, or Facebook, VOS of Salon TV, VOS of Salon Radio, VOS/SL, VOS/UK, VOS/Australia, and we're able to get we. Also, then the carry we on, which we call Twitter, we na X, and we na VOS television. If you go on VOS television, VOS TV website, we'll get to website, we na VOStelevision.com. If you go on a VOS with the carry, we have on a radio too, VOS, the radio website, we na VOSradio.com. Also, you can, when the carry we on the radio, when I wish we can display them again, but then the carry we at the radio. But also, if you want to catch one at the radio now for download, they go now the Apple Store or the Apple Play Store or the Google Play Store, the Apple App Store or the Google Play Store. For download, you can catch you can catch one at the radio station 91.9 FM, 91.9 FM. And that you could catch mostly if you're in the Freetown area, particularly in the eastern part of Freetown for right now. So all the platform then they for be able for catch we send in your comments, and of course the number that I give you now, can call and participate, and then we'll get last but not least, there's one thing we call Twitch, Twitch TV. you can go on VOS television. If you go on Twitch, you can able reach we. So there are many, many ways when I can able catch we, listen to we, participate in the discussion. And as I can always say, this is interactive programming, meaning that you can participate with we live, and also people, and of course, you can call in. This is a live show, so you're not going for listen. If you get something for say, you can call we and just talk to we and talk to the audience, because your comments will be carried wide and internationally. Okay, so last but not least, I want to let everybody know, say the lines are open as soon as we begin to present the show. So if you get any comments, call in, so you will be first, second, third, fourth in line. Not wait till the show go too far before, because in fact, the earlier you call, the better it is for others who will call later. So with that in mind, let me turn it over to my co-host, Mr. Mengot. From that, Mr. Mengot, you can turn it over to Mr. Jesmed Suma. Mr. Jesmed Suma will be very happy to get on board. So we'll get a view of how in Sierra Leone and what is the way forward. To you, Mr. Mengot.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Shillon. And I'm not going to say much because we don't spend a lot of time. Now, serious talk one can talk through now. Now, you see, now we don't capitalize this today. We get Mr. Shillon, we're not the lawyer. We get Mr. Jesmed F, Suma, we're in a politician, but also it's an activist, political commentator, a man with a wide knowledge of politics in Sierra Leone. Then you get me with my own leaning towards parliament and governance in the country. So the topic for today, what we want to talk about is the power puzzle in Sierra Leone's presidency. Is that overshadowing the balance of power? What do we mean by that? We all know, say, we can talk about the three arms of government: the executive, the judiciary, and the legislature in a parliament. But then let's take the president as the CEO, the chief executive. 9 days in charge of Mama Salon public limited company, because not a private limited company. It a rule in the interest of we people. So we don't see successive presidents them. So for guide, we viewers them and listeners, this is not an indictment on the present government, but it's a matter of looking at our system of governance with the president as the head. Because the president in Amman, we're very busy. Because the constitution says a member of parliament. He's a member of parliament. He's also the head of the executive. He's commander-in-chief of the armed forces, fountain of honor. He got all the one in there. So with all the glorification, then powers will give them. Is that affecting our governance system? And do we need to point out some of the things that are big challenges? So over to you, Mr. Jesmed Suma, for take me through. Then we'll all go up much on key issues that we raise. Because at the end of the day, we want to point out what exists, what is wrong, and how it could be done and improved. Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you. And Salon. Now, I'm going to share the link. Well, some of we enter into politics with a specific reason. And my own specific reason, therefore do with the fact, say, I know Sierra Leone has a lot of potential, but we lack the systems where they enable we for tap into all the potentials where the Sierra Leone get for how we develop the lives of our people. So over the past 10 or more years whereon they participate in the politics of Salone, I don't take time study and try to understand the root cause of the problems we make it go difficult for let we get ourselves out of the system where they exist right now and able for develop and transform the lives of our people. There are so many factors, but in anything, you got to understand the root whose the problem they emanate from. And my own observation, which is why I'm sharing it now, just in case somebody else is able to attain the leadership of Sierra Leone and go able for look back into some of them visuals, some of which they share, and say, yes, maybe I go able for me not been think along that line there, but it look like I say I got for follow, that from the discussions that we don't hear from people like Jesmed Suma and other people, we don't understand how rotten the system is and how to fix them. Now, we major problem therefore do with these so-called 3 branches of government, where theoretically we all they assume and consider say these 3 branches supposed to be equal branches of government. We get equal powers where they balance the power of how we run the system and run the country. Unfortunately, the way the system they run, the power is completely centralized within the presidency of the government, and that was done deliberate. It was deliberate by the framers of the Constitution, which in this case I can say authoritatively I put her on the shoulders of Dr. Black Conte, because he was vice president then. He was hoping and expecting to be president as soon as possible within a year or two, towards the end of JS Momo in era. So now during then 10 day where the nation don't begin gravitate towards a multi-party system, then try for rush up and try for build the 1991 constitution. So he deliberately put in certain loopholes we're going to make it easier for the presidency for control the other branches. As it is today, when somebody become a president, he gets so much power within the executive branch itself, where they give him the opportunity for change, hire and fire hundreds and thousands of people at every little department and ministry and section and commission of the country, both inside the salon and the embassies and foreign missions. I'm talking about thousands and thousands of people. Over and above that, the president, they ultimately control the entire judiciary. And over and above that, the president gets a strong, unfettered, unhindered influence over the legislature. How did this come about? Well, we shift from a one-party system. We'll get an executive president. We get, unlimited powers to the extent that he can, as for use Donald Trump in word, he can kill somebody self during the and the check. Stephen can kill somebody. Nobody know they ask him questions. No checks and balances not been exist. So now from that on, there will be a shift for going to multi-party system. Unfortunately, the gatekeepers who been expect say for shape up with constitution, then came from that mindset. They don't enjoy power, they don't smell power, they don't taste power. And now they can't tell them, say they can't dismantle that power there. So then cleverly inside that same constitution would they rely on for letting them go able for control power again in the same way we been exist prior to the multi-party system. Now, let we take the issue about the relationship between the executive branch, when are the president, now in they control the military, now in they control the police, now in they control prison, now in they control all the different agencies of government, all the department anti-corruption, all the other all the internal security agencies, them ONS, everything. Now in they determine whether they run different commissions, different embassies, all the different embassies, them. Now in they control all of that. Over and above that, now in get the power for nominate somebody way for serve as the Chief Justice. Now in get the power for nominate somebody we go serve as a judge in any of the different areas within the judiciary. And when he nominate, that nomination day subject to the approval of Parliament, but now they also the control Parliament. As far as my memory goes, we don't ever get a situation wherein the president gets come from a minority party in the House of Parliament. So always the majority party, now always they try for, then they manipulate the process, like it happened in 2018, where the people then vote for a balance of power, a legislature controlled by APC and an executive controlled by SLPP, but through the same abuse of power, through the same structure what they talk about, so then use that one, they manipulate them and change the system so that the executive power, where controlled by the SLPP, is also influenced within the legislature. So as I speak, the legislature is controlled by the ruling party, and at the party also they rule the executive branch. So any nomination we then present to the legislature, it is automatic. The question is how, why? Now this is why. One, for appoint a judge, a chief justice, or any of the judges within the judiciary, the constitution na article, I think 153 say, the president na get the power for nominate anybody for serve as chief justice based on the advice of the judiciary and services, legal and services commission. Some commission where now the Judiciary and Legal Services Commission were responsible for making nominations, recommendations to the president, and the president now, from that recommendation, they nominate somebody where they go for go ratify in the House of Parliament. However, the loophole them put in that clause, they say the president not bound by that nomination day. So which means it's irrelevant whether the commission exists or not. The president is not bound to follow the nomination. Now let us look at the composition of the commission itself. Like you know, say, yanda again, if president want for influence, who that they recommend you go able for do one. If they get the attorney general day, they get the chief justice day. So that means the same chief justice where the previous chief justice would then go down nominate on that position day under a flawed process. The same one they participate back for make recommendation for determine the judges the way they come and then kind of stuff that they, which is good. But until you fix the way how that Chief Justice day is appointed to that position day, then in nominations they're not go relevant because he still will be holding to the president. So the president ain't go for dictate as to who they go for nominate for send to in the president itself. He include the Attorney General, include somebody from the Bar Association. Now that make you see say the executive branch, there's so each party we kind of power. They're always fixated for control the Bar Association because of some of their reason, yeah. Because the Bar Association they nominate somebody for the part of that commission they where they make recommendations to the president. And they want for influence that. And because of some of they're not going to let the Bar Association and take independent opinions on some of the things, especially constitutional abuses the way they go in the country. Then you get a number of other people that wouldn't nominate into that commission day, but the key people them now people that were the president responsible for the existence. Now the head of the Civil Service Commission also did that commission day. So now the president get a hand in determining the existence of the very people that will constitute that particular commission. And then over and above that, the composition of the commission is subject to the approval of the president. So in other words, if you don't have the commission, sometimes then go tell the president, say, no, you don't object to what the president did, and that let the president take on a commission there. The president then the power for just kick you out of that commission there. So they were just, the constitution is written in a way for full people them, where not they take them for see the power balance or imbalance in the way they structure them. So as a result, this issue about the commission where they make recommendation to the president is as good as not even existing. Because the president get the leverage for do whatever he wants. And even at that particular, if the constitution also define some of the requirements and qualifications and way somebody get for meet for let go serve as a chief justice, it means if I don't practice for at least 20 years. But don't then a situation where like an Eskroma, he nominates somebody for become chief justice who not serve 20 years, will not practice for 20 years yet. I think as far as my memory goes, I may be wrong. At the time when they nominate the chief justice. As a result, then for serve as a member of the Supreme Court, now 20 years, a member of the Court of Appeal, 15 years, for serve as a judge, 10 years, all anything and they are defined. But when the president they violate NTR, nobody know they with the challenger. So as a result,
okay, Mr. Jesmed, can you hold your thought? Let me just throw some questions at you, if you don't mind.
Yeah, well, I'm just make another point quick.
Yeah, okay, go ahead.
Because I try for clarify the relationship between the executive branch and the judiciary and how the president they control them. So that's now one aspect, the appointment process. The second one is the control of the purse strings. The control of the purse strings. When somebody, let assume say the chief justice is independent, let assume say not to the president he influence whatever that the commission the work fine and don't appoint and the president not got the option pass within the commission recommend now they choose they meet all the criteria the constitution don't prescribe. You don't become a judge, you don't become a chief justice, you don't become somebody in the judiciary. Now when it comes to whether they determine the quality of the housing where you get, the type and the quality of the vehicle where you get, the amount of benefit where you get in terms of fringe benefit, even you salary scale and things like that, it's all determined by the executive branch, which is controlled by the president itself. That is one. When you come to the security of your life as a judge, the security of the life of your family, the driver that takes you to and from work, these are all provided by the executive branch, the president's influence. So you see all the loopholes there, make the president get ultimate control over the judiciary and not care what you think, what you want for do. There is no way we will fix that problem there if we not consider the recommendations and what they can offer in terms of how to fix that imbalance of power between the judiciary and the executive branch. So before I offer the solution, I don't describe the problem. Now leave the floor open for any questions.
Okay, Mr. Mengot, you get any questions so far?
Well, I think so we can continue in a way where Mr. Suma to identify the relationship between the president and the judiciary and some of the what I would call the unfairness or imbalance between the two. And he said he will provide solutions later on. I think so we can continue. From my own point of view, just a short, it also happened with the security sector, the same constitution. Because one of the key persons in with security, now the Inspector General of Police. I just want to show the same part. Because for the appointment of the Inspector General of Police, the Constitution states that we get a police service commission, which is headed by the vice president.
Another political.
And that same commission, they also get somebody from the bar association. So I just show the parallel. So in other words, that commission they get for look into eligible senior officers. Law taker present day. In the past, we had an hierarchical structure. If we take from the time where we reformed the police, we had Keith Biddle, a man I respect a lot, when enemy bring us expert. And in deputy was Brahma Acha Kamara, who obviously is like somebody they will overshadow the IG. So when Keith Biddle left, Acha Kamara came. Acha Kamara was being also the DIG on the in system was Munu. So when Acha Kamara done, Munu came inside. Then when you take Munu, you get Richard Moigbe. Now I'm in the shadow. So when Munu come out, Moigbe came. And then after that, we see a complete change. I know people that know how we get it. So if the man were there in charge of the police, again, we get this commission, Police Service Commission, which is headed by the Vice President, and get members, which on paper and then for choose the most eligible senior officer, but then again, the President get for appoint, then Parliament get for approve. So let's come to Parliament when it comes to approval of appointment. Throughout the last 15 years, or we'll say 20 years, there's only been one person who went for parliamentary approval. I think that was for the position of the ombudsman, who later on was rejected. But everybody is just rubber stamp. So that's the trend, and we will delve more into that when it comes to that. So that's the point I want to make. And also there's so much more when it comes to the relationship between Parliament and the President. For the fact that the President is also a member of Parliament. And as a member of Parliament, not only that, he get the power for prorogue Parliament. Even parliamentarian they recess. If anything happens, we can call them and say, come back, I want to discuss this issue. The President also it can once every year Pokangi in speech, right? Members then they listen to the speech, then debate them, then score political points. But that's the end. We see in them country here, the other two issue now the president in advocacy for Salon. We do welcome it, because if you go around, but as we all know, the country they will copy from, when the leader go out, when he come back, he get for report to parliament for say, well, now this I go do. Now this discussion I will get on behalf of the country, but we know they see that. So let's just left and day as mere observation, because there's more to come. So over to you, Mr. Sheila. If you want to contribute or ask questions, then we can start to look at the solutions.
Just a brief comment.
Very brilliant contribution. Very brilliant contribution. Thank you.
Just a brief comment with respect to the separation of powers. And you see, Mr. Jesmed Suma talk about, or I think that you, Mr. Mengo, talk about, even when Constitution they talk about, the president is a member of parliament.
Parliament. Can you imagine that?
Right from the get-go. Right from the beginning. That's a no-no, that's a mess up, that is ridiculous. That is, it's everything on the negative side. The president cannot be a member of parliament, plain and simple. So this is why a lot of times, I'm not trying to attack the integrity of the people that will do with constitution. Be it Dr. Abdullah Conte, Peter Tucker, I'm not intimidated by the big names. To me, it's a matter of show me what your big name mean.
Exactly. The character, the moral character.
Yeah, so show me what you mean. If Dr. Abdullah Conte structure, which in PhD, nobody could question that. Nobody could question, say, one of the best minds, intellectual minds the country has ever had. But there are many good minds, even America will get. You go on a subway, train station, you see somebody with double master's degree in one of the most renowned areas of education. He play violin, he collect money like beggar man. So that degree there is one thing. It's what that degree they go do for you and what country, like President Kennedy say. Ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. So now, when you get somebody like Dr. Abdullah Conte, or you get some of the big names, I've always asked one question, what nobody seems to answer, and I want to be educated along that line. All them people I would draft for education. Can somebody tell me, all the names say, they associate with Constitution? Can anyone tell me, from even Justice Kavanaugh, can anyone tell me any of these guys ever been a constitutional scholar? Can anybody tell me any of these guys ever put out a constitutional thesis or essay? So what can give them the expertise for write constitution just because they're a lawyer, just because they get PhD? This is the problem. When we know worldwide, there are a bunch of people whose specialty that is. You see, so we don't accept that. You see, until we come to ground zero and start up. Because if you not fix the structure or the foundation, no matter what you do about the foundation, the system will collapse. So this is in furtherance with Jesmed Suma in preamble or in suggestion that we want to fix the system. There are certain things we get for do we not state yet. But me just try to let people understand. And I'm not saying this with any degree of contempt for these people I'm referring to. Nobody will argue. Nobody gets a PhD by sleeping overnight. Say it's hard work. Nobody gets a master's degree unless you, this is hard work. We realize it, we will go to university. So we want to say that. But what concerns me is the misrepresentation of the education and what we get. Even me, Mohammed Shilon, as a lawyer, if you give me a constitution to write for a country, I will boldly say, I don't mind for being a member of a commission, work for writer, but I don't get the expertise. But I can recommend good legal minds who can do these things when at the area they're in. I think we owe our obligation to our country. You know, until we begin to be honest enough to let people know, say, just because you're a doctor, don't necessarily you can do brain surgery, you can do orthopedic surgery, you can do urological surgery just because you're a doctor. Be courageous enough to say, not to me specialty that one day. But I know a good, you know, surgeon in that area there. You know, that's the thing. So in the law, when they assign them thing here or their assignment here to certain people, then when a lawyer, be courageous enough for say, no, I will accept the appointment, but I want it to be known that the real mind behind what we would do, I will put a good constitutional team. And until we correct that thing there. Because you see, the Constitution is just badly written. Too much power vested in the executive, intentionally or unintentionally. It is what it is. So with that said, hold off 1 second. We'll get a call.
Now, before you get the caller, I just want to make one quick comment. So we'll go for buttress you point to the make when a very important thing. This now between the judiciary and parliament. I mean, I have had 8 years of experience working in the British Parliament. And most countries, we know, say in Parliament, they get legal drafters the way they draft laws. Mm-hmm. But in Sierra Leone now, we get a situation whereby most of our laws are drafted by the law officers department and pushed out to Parliament. Mm-hmm. So that is another thing which we might consider when we're looking at solutions. So over to you, Lord, get this caller we can answer. I just want to add that before we get that point missing.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mengot. Mr. Suma, hold tight. Let me just answer this caller for give everybody an opportunity. Hello, caller. What's your name? Where you come from?
Hello, viewers. This is Omar who call.
All right, Mr. Omar. Thanks for calling.
Okay, Una Sefuna, thank you, Banda. I get question. First of all, my question of Mr. Mengot. You get experience in Parliament for a very long time. Then you see the kind of way we parliamentary behave. We're waiting at the changes where you feel say, if you want to be a progressive parliament, waiting at the changes the way if you say go they in place for Mexico we see a progressive parliament rather than the parliament we get now. Mr. Shillon, one thing where we constitution don't show in that there are a lot of loopholes in the constitution because in theory the three arms of government for be independent from each other, but we get a scenario wherein the one which is in fact not to the highest because the executive is not the highest arm of government. Is the executive arm of government, but when you come in terms of the highest arm of the government should be the parliament because then they represent the people directly, according to my own view.
Yep.
But we see in the situation wherein the head of the executive is member of the parliament, we don't really say the parliament is not independent. It's being influenced by the executive. You might be the talk say sometimes a get away they call most of the doctors, so be they say doctors, see me they say doctors. So I don't know how they will write the constitution and with all respect, I don't know how they call them. But from all what he make, he say then doctorate degrees and most of them get. I mean, to me, I see and say I don't get respect for them because they contribute for they make with they say with they today. So waiting at the constitutional changes waiting for do. And how, therefore, all the government on its mandate and check and balance make sure we get a democracy where it fit we all. And you feel the parliamentary system of government, it would be the best system of government or still now we deal with the executive system of government, which is the presidential. Then account we guess who we get now the studio day. You know a political party and a prominent head of one of women 3 political parties in that country, Because no matter what, the NGC is one of the main three big guns of the political arena in Sierra Leone. Waiting will be una policies if in case una can have power, even though that will be something like a dying kingdom come, because the political system and the political atmosphere are not favor the third party in that country. We know and we hope say it will change one day, but now it's difficult. But if in case you find yourself into governance of that country, waiting at the policies the way una go put in place for make sure say una get a proper balance of power where it go fit the Sierra Leonean setting. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Omar. Thank you. Mr. Suma and Mr. Mengot may go answer that, but we will give an opportunity to Mr. Suma make some points. And before Mr. Suma, before you take over, let me just read. I think as a comment, I don't even know what he's saying. NGC, you can perform all the gymnastics you can, but you will never gain the momentum that you had with that political Judas, Yumkela. Your political chances are over because of deceit and betrayal. So that's a French thing. Okay, yeah. So this person just make a comment about that when they are at an immense disadvantage by virtue of the moves that what Dr. Yumkela make. So this is a question for you. And so, Mr. Suma, back to you.
Yeah. First of all, I want to tell that the previous caller thanks, not the last one, because the last one don't make no sense. And the other thing is, I know how we shift this discussion for be about NGC or SLPP or APC. This is just ordinary Sierra Leoneans putting out their views in terms of waiting and seeing at the problem of the country. And part of the reason why I choose for share the ideas they are is because of the rottenness we observe within the politics itself of the country, where it be say people that we get ideas of how to solve the problem of the country no go ever define and difficult for get the opportunity for them a position for bring them ideas and therefore fix the problems. So as a result, million ideas that we me get based on your observation, I want to make them out publicly so that anybody, Mr. Mengo, Mr. Lee Shilon, or anyone will one day become president of Salon will remember say, these are the problem that we will not be see. Mr. Suma been talking. Say let we begin for look into them. Sometimes I know what they exist that day. So now I make I no one die, I keep plenty in my mind without saying them out. So I want to let everybody understand that. So my own hope was that if I able for restructure the NGC party as me the envisage them, we go put we in a position for win elections, especially the 2028 elections. I get a strategy how for win 2028 elections. But the inner core is so rotten that you go for the fight battles over battles for even fix that inner core. If you not fix the inner rottenness of the political party itself, that party no go ever then a position for win. So as a result, the ideas the way I've been the emergency I go propagate and put forward in the name of the NGC party, I am now sending them in the name of Jesmed Suma. So I am here not representing the NGC party. I am here representing myself, putting my ideas across for the nation so people can debate with me in terms of the issues and where they raise and how we go able to come to a common understanding of how to address some of the issues. Now, I don't talk about the problems. Thank God Mr. Mengosef don't touch on some of the problems where make the presidency or the president get ultimate control over the judiciary. So the question now is, how do we solve it? How do we solve the issue about the appointment? How do we solve about the find control of the purse that the executive gets over the judiciary. So in terms of the appointment, I will still maintain the Judicial and Legal Service Commission. When are the commission we're responsible for make recommendation to the president. But I will make sure say we change the composition of that commission there. One, we will make a mandatory that the president cannot make any nomination outside the recommendations made by the commission.
I agree.
Two, the commissions have to make recommendations based on criteria already defined in the Constitution. So anybody who don't meet that criteria, they not for even be considered for nomination. So in other words, the president can only veto the recommendations made by the commission based on the commission failing to meet the criteria as defined in the Constitution. So the president can veto the nominations, but the president cannot nominate without a recommendation from the commission. Now, in terms of the composition of the commission itself, of course, the law, the Bar Association, therefore get a very strong say in terms of recommendations within the forget representation of the commission. The judiciary, maybe in this case, when it comes to making a choice of replacement of the Chief Justice, I think part will be letting go recuse himself. But if not making recommendation of nomination about all other judges within the judiciary, yeah, the Chief Justice can play a role within that particular commission. Then you look at the balance of power of the geopolitics itself. You look at the composition where they exist in the House of Parliament, and you use that same balance of power there based on the percentage share where political parties then get for also get the opportunity for make recommendations where go be part of the commission itself. Because everything, whether you look at it which way, left, right, is all politics. There is politics involved in every aspect of it. The independence of the commission itself, we now therefore think about other individuals then, based on certain defined criteria, where go aim for make it creates either a balance or overshadow the political influence where they exist from the parties involved. We will therefore make recommendation in addition to the Chief Justice, in addition to the Attorney General, in addition to the Bar Association's recommendation. So in other words, the solution I'm offering here is not one that I alone can make, but all I'm saying that we should examine part of the solution. We should examine the composition of the Judiciary and Legal Service Commission, both in terms of who should be part of the commission, but the power balance that exists within the commission itself. And then two, make it mandatory that the president cannot make any nomination for Chief Justice or any judges within the judiciary, anybody within the judiciary that is not recommended by the JLS Commission, which is the Judiciary and Legal Service Commission. Now, once that is done, the next area we'll go for examine. Now the purse strings where the executive branch gets over the judiciary. In this area,
Mr. Suma, sorry, hold your thoughts, please, because we get series of callers. Please hold your thoughts. Don't forget. Let me just take one or two, otherwise we will get the line backed up. Sorry about that. Please. Hello, caller. What's your name? Where you call from?
Yeah, I recall from the United States.
All right, welcome.
I'm glad it's a program because I also been a participator on some of them contribution towards the constitution and all what happened with the APC and the SLPP We always talk, say, unless we amend the constitution, because the right where the president get too much. But now we not the same one. Let's not forget, so the and they colonize with and say learning is better than silver and gold. Now I make we waiting a salon today. The foreigner the way can then the citizen we waiting a salon in a foreigner because then they enjoy pass away bondi. Because with them in kind they not be consider waiting the British man and say learning is better than silver and gold. So if you watch now, Lebanese will not go school safe. The educated Creole man they work for them. Because them can focus on the riches where we get. Then they sit down, do business and everything. But we go as the British man and teach we for go na school after we come out there, we change 100 to million, we change 1 to 1,000. So now that situation, then I know take a problem. Okay. We then talk about the constitution, the other way right time, we don't get that side waiting and say right. But we politicians, they all now politician them. Few them where they can't sign out, then they go pull away a businessman name for can include them politics. Like can buy Kuroman a business they do and bring and come. And so then they bring them kind inside because they not get no way for survive. Now politics where they can inside they want now then they survive. So if you come for that 5 year, enable make comes until we lost again, they did for 10, 15 years and not get nothing. So if you check, I don't think it passed 4 or 5 politicians they will they both say then pass on beside politics, then they able make income. So now this they bring the problem. We don't talk, we don't cry about the all kind power where they give the president. We cry then you kela then they let today because you know don't forget when you kela them begin talk or Tawa when I SLPP then begin talk. The president cut all the subsidy where they deserve forget na parliament. That waiting that mean for set too much because if you don't talk too much, all what you deserve not go get them. But the other the parliamentarians they not protest so.
Exactly.
Because anytime a president come, and they try for both the parliamentarians them, give them something for lock them out always. So now that they happen.
Thank you. Very good point.
Yeah, so if they cry like today, now the problem that's what they're facing.
And that's how they can't touch on right now. That's how they can't touch on right now. That's how we mentioned so. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Hello, caller. What should I name inside the call from? Hello, caller.
Yes, sir.
Hello.
Yes, hello.
Hello.
Yes, I don't. Are you hearing me?
Yes, clearly. Go ahead.
Okay, sir. This is Fully Mustafa from Leicester.
Thank you, Mr. Mustafa.
Yes. First of all, Mr. Suma, we will welcome you back, but thank you back for you take your time. But make you know say you know go come on this platform, you know talk about the NGC because you know in the face of the NGC. So if people begin ask question, them you know they respond to that and they I don't know we say we come for that purpose day, but if you look at what thing they happen at the NGC. Well, people can get concerned. So, because the thing is here is because I put as my first point. We already wait and they try for oust you because they want kill una party like we they don't kill C4C the same way. For I mean the one that we get leading to the SLPP because of the influence of government. Then they do things then for because I kill and kill NGC so. So me, I'm concerned about that. Number one. No. The other question I get for you back. You know, when they talk about the election will pass, if you think the SLPP win them, and if so they win them, why they not they show the results? We then show the win them. We will form an alliance. That's just briefly that. My main point I want to put now about constitution. Where they talk about governance or the problem about political parties. To me, after I don't look at the situation, I don't see the biggest problem also along gets now the problem because the political party them where we worship, where we don't accept this is a normal thing, they do better or they not do better, then they get votes. This is the problem of Sierra Leone. We go change all the laws them. We go do all kind of things. But as long as votes, it don't matter whether they what you do, what is the essence? Because today, the one who they cry say hardship na the south of the country. If they put box, then we still vote for the south, the SLPP. If it don't happen back about 5 or 6 years ago, where the other part of the country, it doesn't matter if they don't get water for drink or if they get something for eat, they still vote for that party. So look at around Africa, all the party they will be there towards independence, they all don't disappear. They form other party the way they try for evolve about around the current day narratives, the way they bring about changes or in living standards, all the things. But we, it no matter now green and red. And they say we get stronghold. You go to the stronghold of the SLP today na Abuja, burnt. Water no did, road no did, electricity no did, nothing no did, food no did. But if you put box, then they vote for them. So now we look at this problem. We go talk about the constitution today. We'll talk about because even the laws they would try to talk about, we get all the laws there, like the parliamentary act. Them we get the ombudsman act, we get anti-corruption act. All get the way they appoint the people. But what happen? Now they take the president and put on top them. So you get it's very easy. Make them just deactivate that power the way the president gets from those things. Because they get the act them. We're gonna go see again. All of these things they get the act they don't make from parliament or how they do their administration. Even the SWAT commission they get them. But the only problem is the head that they appoint the head. And when we meet up somebody way manipulative like this current regime, when I see all of those things, they don't just put it in the mud. So do me on I've been like if I go end because I the boss. Make we look at ways them either because it's not possible for them wipe out the party then. How them go influence them, how them go do the educational thing there for make people and begin to vote on issues. Or let we change the governance system. Because if we change the governance system where the Southerners they get a government, they will get an alternative for vote for. Where you not be say pass no more than vote for the SLPP. Left and I because I like the boss. No, thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Mustafa. One last call I could take before we go back to Mr. Jesmed, Suma, or to me, co-host. Hello, caller. Which is your name? Where are you call from?
I name Kaikiafa. I call from Maryland, USA.
Welcome, sir.
Thank you. I got two comments and one question. I'll start with a comment. I'm directed at Mr. Suma. Mr. Suma, they make a lot of brilliant points, but some of them points they absurd. I'll start with absurd. Elections have consequences. It is fact that when one of the beneficiaries they get win elections, they forget the power of appointment and firing people. So let me suggest the president for making the appointment except those that are recommended by the commission is absurd. You can't take the power of appointment from the president. That make a wrong election, you win. Now one part of the power the minority get. And the other two, I would like to believe it was a constitutional lawyer because I remember say, I think either the state of Barbados or Trinidad and Tobago, I think they may hire or can work on their constitution too. Either Barbados or Trinidad and Tobago, one parent two day, you know. And the other one, just because they say Mr. Shilon, you know the head of the commission or where they write the constitution means that for you the head, therefore be a constitutional lawyer. You know, means that you because you the head of the commission that is going to comprise of so many people from every aspect of life. You will get some people and they will have constitutional lawyers. When you really forget, you are just the head. You don't have to be a constitutional lawyer. You understand? And I don't know if Mr. Suma would provide anything to the audience right now for shit. Before this time, you were so agitated about how bad the constitution was. I say, not from the last 5 years, before you get so involved in election. I believe if I'm president today, trust me, we want to salute people. You know, go advocate for men and take some of them power the way they advocate so now for take from the president the way don't they. The constitution is bad. We all know that one. But it's not the fault of the present president. It was not the fault of Anes by Kroma or the president before him. Now, the people of Sidom, that group, whether a Talker Commission or Kawan or Abdullah Conte, now waiting them in field, say, the fit for the country at that time, not even take into consideration, although some politics they inside it. Because the president can tell what he want, or the government, the party in power can tell what they want. But
well, Mr. Shillon, let correct this man quick. When I talk about,
let's finish. So we'll not go. Finish in 3 minutes. So yeah, go ahead. Let's make a note, Mr. Suma.
Well, I will stop now because you don't even Mr. Suma don't interrupt me train of thought. Let's just listen to a commentary.
Okay. All right.
No, what I want to correct is that when I talk about restricting the president's powers to make appointment, I'm just talking about the judiciary, because now a separate branch of government where his powers of that branch they're supposed to be equal to that of the president. So you need for control the influence with the president they get over that. And then they talk about appointment for be ambassador, for be minister, no, that's not what I'm talking about. So that clarification they I've been expecting sometimes Mr. Shillom for don't make, but and I want to make to the guy.
I didn't want to interrupt him because like we say, we're not lost in trend of thought. So sometimes I can just be quiet. But thank you very much, Mr. Suma. But go ahead. I want to let you resume.
In terms of the solutions, I don't mention the one side we get for do it. We get for re-examine the composition of the Judiciary and Legal Service Commission. When are the one where they recommend people and where the president go appoint for be judges and Supreme Court judges within the criteria defined by the Constitution. So we go for look at the composition of that one day. So we limit the president's influence over that particular commission day, and then make a mandatory for let the president not nominate anybody outside outside anything where the commission don't put forward. In other words, it has to be restricted within the recommendations made by the commission. Now, in terms of the purse strings, this is just limited because the purse strings where the executive branch get, they wield them all over the country in every aspect, but I just limit and just to the judiciary. As I mentioned in the identification of the problems, based on the current system, from the remuneration, the fringe benefit, the type of vehicle, type of housing, everything from the cook to the security, it's all provided by the executive branch. And as long as that they exist, anybody we can go power today, let's say Angel Gabriel bring come, as long as the president get that power over the judiciary, they know we get mind challenge them in anything way they say for way name down day. For break that one day, there will be need for them to get a real breakaway from norms in terms of how to restructure that particular whole day where the president get over the judiciary. Now, two areas are they looking to right now: security and the finances. In terms of the finances, my recommendation will be that the judiciary has a budget department within the judiciary itself, where headed by the Chief Justice, they examine the entire financial needs of the entire judiciary department, branch of government, from the Chief Justice to the magistrates to the clerks to everything where they need salary, remuneration and everything. Now that budgetary committee they now in the review now in the make recommendation to the Ministry of Finance and send a copy to the House of Parliament. The Ministry of Finance go get for now adjust the national budget for make provision for that recommendation where the judiciary don't send to them, but they not get the power for change anything from the recommendation where the judiciary they make to them, except then go debate in a parliament. Then go debate in a parliament, say we don't prepare our budget. The judiciary they ask for 20 billion. But based on we own budget, we not going to afford 20 billion. So we they ask parliament for do ya when I examine this budget based on their recommendation, we they put 15 billion. Let Parliament debate them. The judiciary say go send a new representative, they examine, then Parliament get the power for examine all the entire budget. Look at almost they don't see to every department, they examine them based on the recommendation of the judiciary and determine whether they will listen to the Minister of Finance recommendation or not, or make adjustment. But that power to adjust the recommendations in terms of the budget allocation to the judiciary should be squarely be made by the judiciary, and then they make recommendation and should be approved mainly by the House of Parliament. The Ministry of Finance should not have any power to change that except they go to Parliament to debate it. In terms of the security of the judiciary, you know, say when they get criminal offenses, then get civil offenses. Civil offenses between Joe and Jane, when they get case, you can go, you summon the person in a court. You go take lawyer on a way name. That's how the police no need for be involved or whatever, this and that, except situations, then they way sometimes you will get police involved. But in most cases, civil cases, now a case between one person and the other, one organization or another, one company or another, one individual and another, or an individual and the government. But when it comes to criminal cases, the executive branch now get the ultimate first-hand investigative power through the police or through any of the security agencies them, or through the anti-corruption agency. Now, once they investigate the matter, then determine say there is need for prosecute this case, then don't send them to court. Then we for make changes to the constitution where they make the judiciary ultimately get power over that particular case day. Ultimately, what do they mean? Let me explain first what thing they happen right now before I go to the solution. Right now, what thing they happen, let's say somebody go broke us. Somebody else, you go rob or you go thief somebody or you go embezzle somebody money, then go arrest them. Police investigate and she say yes, culpable. They arrest and then bring kind of court. The court deny bail. That person they in determination now for pulling a police hand, care and go na detention, maybe Pademba Road or any other side. Now, what's in the happen right now, despite the fact say the judiciary don't make a decision saying they deny bail or they don't sentence this person here, so when that person gonna sell, the executive branch now get ultimate control over that person they in the wanna sell. Meaning that if it please the Minister of Interior Minister for instruct the director of prison, they say, "Body other man then for the game weekend, weekend to me every weekend." Nobody can ask questions, and that means it undermine the powers of the judiciary, because the Chief Justice judiciary don't determine say this person is a criminal based on the finding where they don't put before we don't send and go jail. Who else has the power to take them out of jail? And today, because of the powers of the executive branch, the president or the Minister of Interior can vex arrest. Una go arrest that person there. Una can go na Pademba Road. You know they go court again. No. Pademba Road straight. They go detain the person there. That is the power that exists now. How do you dismantle that? Then the next one, the issue about the security of the members of the judiciary. All that, as I mentioned earlier, is provided by the executive branch. So all them two and they take them into this one year. So my own recommendation are as follows: that once a matter don't go inside court, that matter they under the jurisdiction of the Chief Justice, when at the head of the judiciary. Now in the determine who sell that person they go, if they find them guilty, and at the judiciary, the Chief Justice forget control over the entire prison department. Now, him forget the powers for determine whether they recommend for nominate for let them become a director of prison. Every aspect to get for do with prison, We're not going to do with the police, because the executive branch will control the police and the army. But when it comes to the prison, that now somebody where they don't bring cancer court, where they don't find them guilty, where they don't determine, say, this person for they incarcerated. The Chief Justice in your own department don't make that determination day. Then the Chief Justice in department supposed to get the powers for determining the composition of that particular department day. Then that same prison department day, my recommendation, if I have the powers for take over the leadership of Salone, I will make sure say they get a trained armed division. Salone are the only side where I see say prison department not get gone. Every other country where we don't go, the prison department and get an armed guards. When an armed guard, when they really get gone for protect the prisons. So my own recommendation would be that same department, the armed guard department of the prison department, then go responsible for provide security for all members of the judiciary, from the Chief Justice to the magistrate then. So that since now the Chief Justice, they appoint, they make recommendation for appoint the head of the prisons, they make recommendation for appoint all the divisions within the prisons under the judiciary's control. So in go able for manage your security in terms of whether they provide security for all the judges, for all the magistrates, for all the head of departments and are within the judiciary. So that control day will take them away from the executive branch. From the driver to the cook to everything will be determined by the Chief Justice as head of the judiciary, where they control that side. So that then they go weaken the powers. Because the president has too much powers already. He get power for control the police, he get power for control the army, he get power for lock somebody up for 72 hours by our constitution without asking no questions. But when you don't reach that 72 hours, then for Brian can court, we reach court. Now fairness for him for prevail. Justice time for prevail. Then Chief Justice forget that Independence Day for determine that one day, for Lord go solve that problem day. If we not do that one day, that power grip, according to the current constitution, the current structure, where the executive branch get for determine the fate of the judges in security, in remuneration. Whose judge goes to a court, they decide on case. Where in no says until the interior minister get interest, on the president get interest. Then begin members say the SSD where they guide in wealth and picking a house. Now that person they provider. You go craze for judge against that particular minister day. You go craze for judge against that particular president day. Where you not get control over the gun and the powers the way they guide you wealth and picking there. You know go do one. So irrespective of whether the person want for become the most honest and sincere judge, that power of the purse and the power of the security with the executive branch go over them, it go hinder that person they independent for let go administer justice. So that's not the solution.
Okay, Mr. Suma, thank you. To hold up on that again, let I ask Mr. Mingot if he gets anything where he want for say in the form of a question or for buttress what you say in any shape or form that you want to make in your presentation.
Well, I think say I want to talk about waiting Mr. Suma talk about the budgetary process and everything. In fairness to the current system, I'm aware of that, Karo, with government and everything. When they prepare the budget, then get a session where each department, ministry and departmental agency, then they give them time to come present them budget to the Ministry of Finance. That process is there. So even if, like in recommendation, if now the judiciary, they prepare them budget, say the Chief Justice, yes, that process exists. Where the challenge is, it depends on which we get our kitty. Because remember, say when this government come, we get a single account, that one pot account. So all revenue they go into the consolidated
account.
Yeah, they are consolidated account. Yeah. So for allocate money, the Ministry of Finance, in fairness, get for juggle. My own problem is, which I will talk about now, Parliament in responsibility for the proper scrutiny and actually make sure they understand waiting at the needs of government in terms of priorities. That is very, very pertinent. But before I end there, the last caller, I would like to address this point. The last caller be asked, say, given my experience in parliament, yeah, because I'm at the other arms of government, for me, now there the problem there. Waiting we for do for change that relationship there, because parliament get relationship with the judiciary, it get relationship with the executive. I mean, like the judiciary, like give people a test case, then I'll come back to the whole thing. If we remember, when we been get this issue about the using the proportional representation, one of the things that happen in parliament is that when you go with a statutory instrument is an addition, an addendum, or a modification of an existing law. So we go with that statutory instrument there for make sure, say, they bring the proportional representation. But guess here what happened? So by the time the opposition went to court to object to that, because when you get a statutory instrument, the change now is that the proposer not saying get the burden of proof. Because now you will object to that statutory instrument day, now you get forget 2/3 majority for throw them out. But if you don't get them, then the statutory instrument get 21 days. After that, it becomes law. So now, if you remember, when that case they've been going to court, what the judiciary said, their role is to examine the law. So any law we don't pass in a parliament, they cannot overturn it. So that was the technicality. Because by the time they go to court, the statutory instrument has already become law. So the judiciary cannot change that. So
but they can.
One of the areas we'll get for look at.
No, they can.
Constitutionally, they can.
The judiciary
Constitutionally,
can.
they can. But, yeah.
Yes, they can, because the judiciary,
Yeah, go ahead. No,
is the one that examines the constitutionality of the law.
Of the law,
Whether
exactly.
it's
Hold
constitutional
up,
or
Mr.
Yeah, but the judgment when they make, if I remember vividly,
Once the rules say
the judge said when they do the summary, they said
everybody know come into act.
Yeah. Go ahead,
no,
Mr.
they
Megan.
said distinctly. We can go back to record. I stand corrected.
Yeah.
A law that has been passed by parliament cannot be overturned by the judiciary.
But they are wrong.
They could look
They
at
are
the
wrong.
constitutionality. Yeah, they could look at how
Constitutionally,
that
they are
relates
wrong.
to the
Go ahead.
constitution. Yeah, but they cannot overturn that. And that proportional representation they relate to the constitution, where we have the problem, because now you get section 38A, we make provision for it. So if the constitution make provision for it and parliament don't approve it, the judiciary cannot change it.
All right. May I interject?
That was one of the. Yeah, go ahead.
May I interject, because that Amio Ali, we get to understand what a constitution means within the setting of governance in a country.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
A constitution is the supreme law of the land.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It will now get with democracy, like constitutional democracy, not the old system of parliament. Before we get a constitution, parliament was supreme.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, the court they lacked the ability for overrule parliament. But with a constitution, it is operational, it is standard, it's a given. The supreme, the constitution becomes the supreme law of the land. So any laws passed by parliament has to be within the confines of the constitution.
Constitution.
Any
Exactly.
law
Totally
passed by
agree.
parliament, any law passed by parliament that tend to infringe laws by parliament, the courts have the authority to override and declare that law null and void and get parliament for redo. In
Exactly.
fact, as a matter of fact, under proper construction, once the courts outlaw that law the way parliament pass, okay, let's say parliament takes upon themselves right now as things are where people have a right to free speech in Sierra Leone, or the right to assembly. For some reason, a parliamentarian, like last week or so, we will cover a situation where a parliamentarian by the name of Numa, they take on the press that they cause, because they criticize or then publish, not even criticize and publish something about this this Finance Act of 2025, where they analyze them. In fact, they don't even analyze them. I think they just publish it as it is, what it means. Representative, you might say the media, they cause problem where they need for the, I think, dealt with. Okay, yeah, and then the Speaker of the House, do a thing where they call it issue a stand warning, which he has no authority to do.
Exactly.
But you see, that overreaching. But the Speaker of the House gives some stern warning and start threatening people with cyber crime and all that kind of a nonsense. Okay? Now, Parliament no get the authority for, say, the press or the people that would criticize that law, they will be considered criminal if they criticize it. Parliament cannot do that, because then they override what in the Constitution already don't give the people and the power to do. The law should step in, the courts should step in and say, Parliament, no, we will not get the right. And if they cite a law where they say give them that right there, then that right there, that law there, they in conflict with the Constitution. Therefore, that law there should be declared null and void. And until Parliament comes back with a new law, the declaration by the court of having invalidated that law, that becomes the law. Mm-hmm. So now, so this is what, see, when I can try to criticize this constitutional issue, Constitution is a very tricky thing. We need to understand, otherwise we will dip on this game and this, but no, Parliament not get the power for pass any law. The Constitution is the supreme law of the land. Any law get for deal within the confines of the Constitution. Anything beyond that, Parliament doesn't have.
Mr. Sharon, okay.
The reason why,
let me make the point clear, because when you mention about the Constitution, already in the Constitution under Section 38A makes provision for proportional representation. So if Parliament,
that should be it.
Is there.
Okay,
it is there.
But under certain conditions, there has to be prevailing circumstances where go warrant proportional representation.
It is not there in the Constitution.
The problem we get,
it shouldn't be. There should not be any conditionality. I mean, the Constitution, everything is categorical.
Now, I understand, but the very Constitution, it clearly say, in the absence, if there is no delineation, there is no demarcation defined, constituency and ward demarcation not exist because of a chaos like a war or something of the sort, then you can choose for going to proportional representation. But in our case, those existed. Existed, and they still exist.
That is not under Section 38A.
But the reason,
it is not. It is not under Section 38A.
Well, even if it is,
that was the argument. It is not there, right?
And if it is, it's wrong. It's bad law. Constitutionally, it's bad law. Period.
Okay. Now, what I'm saying. Okay, my own point I'm making, let's forget about that. We should not give that as an example. Let's just make me points. Just give me a minute, let me make me point. The point I'm making, now, how Parliament they approve statutory instrument? Because when you talk about a statutory instrument, it's either an addendum, where I mean an addition to an existing law, and let's check the hierarchy of laws. The Constitution is the first law, which is the primary law of the country. Mm-hmm. All other law, which are acts of Parliament, are secondary to that Constitution. Then the statutory instrument is an addendum or addition to an existing act of Parliament. So that is how it goes. But my question is, the point I'm making is the way we approve statutory instruments in Parliament. Because the present situation say, if there's a statutory instrument laid before Parliament, if any other side because normally now the government they lay the statutory instrument, not to the opposition. And a statutory instrument by practice from your knowledge, working in the parliamentary model we set after. Each statutory instrument forgets an explanatory note. That explanatory note therefore determine why they change the law, why it's necessary for change the law, and what they change that for. So
Exactly.
we don't get a situation where most times statutory instruments are presented without explanatory notes. That is where the problem comes. And also it say, if the opposition, for instance, want to object to that statutory instrument, then they forget 2/3 majority. Under the last government, if you remember, they use it under an Escoma regime for Karine and Falaba. Now, two statutory instrument for create two new districts. The same way, under this present system, they use statutory instrument for, it was not illegal, but related to Section 38A for bringing proportional representation. So if you get that system of lawmaking, where they say the objection, you get forget 2/3 majority.
Exactly.
Thereafter,
Black content.
Thereafter, in 21 days, it becomes law. That's where the problem is. That's what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
That's my point I'm making. You know?
Yeah. So when we come to the judiciary, now we go. When we come to the legislature, now we go point all anything and they out. But a very good aspect on the way you point out.
Now, because I respond to, I just want to round up because I respond to that caller in question where they say how we for make parliament work. I just want to finish that. We'll go back to you with the judiciary side, so that we not go just not keep the caller waiting. The next thing in parliament, people get for know the history of parliament. We adopt a system under the Westminster model, which I worked successfully within that system for almost 8 years in both houses. Because in Britain, we get bicameral system, which means we have the House of Commons and the House of Lords. Now, before, remember, parliamentarians form also the executive. We changed under our constitution. Because you get to be a minister, you get to be an MP before you become minister. But when we change, it means even if you're a parliamentarian, if they appoint you as a minister, you get to resign in position. So it means now the executive, you come back to the executive power, because parliament gets scrutiny committees then, right? And then get the power, just like the judge, where there's someone new, say, can't appear before parliament. We will get a situation where I can give example of Tawa, where one time in the way been detained some people from Bank of Sierra Leone until the bank governor been get for camp, for answerable. So now you get a disconnect there between the executive and parliament in terms of scrutiny, because waiting at the parliamentary committee the role. Now for examining the policy, governor, administration, finance of every ministerial department. Now, it comes back to the same way you mentioned, Mr. Suma. Parliament is starved of cash. The parliamentary select committee, they don't get enough money for carry out their scrutiny duties. So a lot of things now they happen. One last one I want to talk, because what's your point? Now the president, he gets a lot of powers. Even if we not summon the president to parliament, we get a minister for political and parliamentary affairs. My suggestion would be that minister should be summoned to parliament on a regular basis for account to the activities of the executive. Especially when it comes to then travels the way the president they do, right? Then get for a report, because as you know in America, if the president go out, they can report to Congress. Through that. The same in Britain. The prime minister cannot go out and not report to parliament and say, so that disconnect there between parliament scrutinizing the executive, no problem. My final one I would like for all to look at, now that situation where the political parties then get a stranglehold over MPs for that interparliamentary activities. So it make the MPs they not be independent. Because if you do the way the government no want, whether the party is in power or in the opposition, they can withdraw your situation. So that is, for me, it's not fairness, because not only party they represent as such, although not in the give symbol, they represent you people the way they vote for you. So the only people that way go get for pull you like some country now, unless the constituents they petition you for let them remove you from parliament. So let hang and they give time.
Okay. So now the two areas where I want come out to the legislature, the relationship between the legislature and the executive branch, where you don't already begin for touch on. But when I talk about the purse strings with respect to the judiciary, the current system, as you rightly say, then therefore go defendant to the Ministry of Finance. I am asking that we should change that. The Ministry of Finance, which is under the ultimate control of the executive branch, should not have the powers to change any recommendations that come from the judiciary in terms of budgetary allocations. Those recommendations should go directly to the House of Parliament. A copy will be sent to the ministry for let them go incorporate them within the annual budget of the country. But then go get for going to Parliament now, convince parliamentarians, say that amount to the judiciary they ask for is too plenty. Because we get other needs they will for address. Now the ministry now get for go defend and convince parliamentarians for do that. Not to the judiciary for go defend themselves to the executive branch, in this case, the Ministry of Finance. No, the debate should take place in the House of Parliament. So parliamentarians will get the authority for review and approve or disapprove of any budget, go now examine the entire budget, examine the recommendations where the judiciary don't make within the context of the Ministry of Finance, and determine which changes then go therefore approve or disapprove. So the power would be in the hands of the executive branch. Now, look to the executive branch.
No, hold on. 1 minute, sir. It happens the same way now, because I had two-pronged scrutiny. First, the Ministry of Finance, then they go present them budgets, right? Then discuss them. But then the same parliamentarian, they also call the various heads of department for appear and justify them budgetary and demands. So it does happen. The problem is we'll get...
Let him finish. Let him finish, Mr. Suma. Let him finish.
Yeah. That I know of, because I don't do in a session where ministries and they go to parliament before the parliament and try for defend them budgetary allocation. But now left that I mean, your point taken, but remember say government now get in plan. Now make so when president they come, okay, we come to this thing. Every year when session they happen, president they go to parliament, but the two will don't miss, like we get the system now. The president they go present in priority to parliament, right? And based on that priority, then they instruct how for spend we couple. You know, so now that's not the challenge, because judiciary can put as much money, but if money not there, how they'll give them? Now that's not the issue. Now the challenge then
Mr. Suma, before you say something, Mr. Suma, hold 1 second before you say something. Make I just ask if I get you right. You the talk say, forget an effective system for empowered judges, for enable the judges then for be able for make decisions without fear of recrimination.
Yes.
The power of the purse, meaning the ability for determine the president, the judiciary, then salary, then security, then everything should be directed to parliament and not to the Ministry of Finance, which is under the executive, which the executive can use for intimidate and control the judiciary. Is that what? Okay. And so that you propose allowing it. I think Mr. Mengot, they say something slightly different from what you say. I want to make sure we understand what you say. Because
it is something slightly, because what Mr. Mengot is saying, what in exists right now, where Mr. Mengot talk about.
You're not going to present the independence of the judiciary where you talk.
Exactly. Now the ministry, now they determine how much they allocate to the judiciary. Then they tell the judiciary, now una go defend them. You understand what I mean? What
Yeah.
they say is the ministry not only for determine and the
Should have
judiciary
no
they talk
role.
say that this we
They
need.
should have no role in that. Yeah.
Yes. So now they send a copy to the Ministry of Finance. Then say this now 20 billion or 25 billion. Now we don't see say now we need for run this department, this branch of government for 1 year. You have factor this now you budget. The ministry now go to the House of Parliament say, judiciary don't ask for 25 billion. Oh. We entire budget now 25 billion leones. We entire budget now 10 trillion.
Okay.
You understand? Inside this 10 trillion, yeah, so if we take 25 billion, no go do. So then go debate now parliament. Now parliament now go say, okay, we don't listen to judiciary, we don't listen to the ministry then concerned. We don't look who's ministry don't send money. Oh, that money will send for per diem. That plenty money now. Lord take them. You go able for cover for the judiciary and so on and so forth. So the power will be in the hands of the judiciary now to present their own budget as opposed to the ministry making decisions for the judiciary and then send them when I go defend them. You understand? So now, come back to
you need to make a recommendation. You need to talk about the flaws of the current system. That's what you are saying,
exactly,
Mr.
That's the flaws of the current system. So now, come back to the legislative branch, the powers between the legislative branch and the executive branch. As Mr. Mengo mentioned earlier, the control where the political party get over the members of parliament and the control where the president get over in party. Now that power they exercise over the parliamentarians. And when it comes to the issue about the powers of parliament for investigate and question the authorities of individual department heads na different executive branch, none of which is happening in Sierra Leone. And not one day see in my own recent memory, we say a House of Parliamentary Committee decide say that they impeach some minister or some judge on account of something we then do. If not to something where the executive branch influence. So in other words, if you're not a judge or whatever, or you're not a minister or something, where sometimes you get some parliamentary protection, like the head of the commissioner for the anti-corruption get some parliamentary protection, where the executive branch no go, the president no go just automatically fire you, or no go fire the chief justice or whatever. They can use the influence the parliament call and impeach them. Now, similar thing happen with how when I see how each party we can have power. The chief justice we're supposed to get a lifetime appointment until 65, where he get the discretion for retire, or 75, where he must retire, where he don't reach 75 according to the constitution. But if they see some man go there something like in the 60s, na chief justice, as the new party come, they take an exit. Why? Now, because he know say, if you not take an exit, then guy will get control over him, then get control over parliament, then can make cook something, send an a parliament, and still kick you out. Then you come out to disgrace. Or then can find a way, then deny you benefit, you whatever. So you might as well take a quick exit, you go with your pension, and you enjoy your retirement. Even if you not really want for retire as Chief Justice. So those are the some because of the powers of the executive branch they will over. Similarly, within the House of Parliament, for let we go able for fix that problem there, where the House of Parliament, where the president get over the House of Parliament, where we go use as a tool for wield and power over other areas then. Now for make sure say one political parties them for be banned from giving symbols to people without meeting certain criteria. And those criteria will be, one, if the person run for a constituency or a district, that person they must run a primary election under the party if you get more than one person contesting. So in other words, if somebody want to go run now constituency 062. You want to run as a member of parliament. Then 2 people and they want for run as member of parliament under the same party. By law, the party cannot symbol.
They all should be allowed equal access.
Yes, without members of the party casting a vote to determine who they want as their own parliamentary appointment. And once that comes to law, that also means the leadership of the party not get the power for fire an elected officer by members of that party within that constituency day, except the person who lost election. Then 2, the composition of the different committees in the House of Parliament. Now, certain country like I think Ghana, I think there is a Ghana, somewhere in Ghana, where the opposition, the head of the opposition party, the majority opposition party, now in the chair the presidential appointment committee, even if the composition of the committee itself is more by the ruling party. In other words, let's take an APC and SLPP situation right now. We get APC, we get SLPP, we get NGC. The way the situation may be right now, the composition of each committee is proportional based on the percentage share where that particular party get in a parliament. So as a result, if the ruling party get majority in a parliament, then they get majority in all the committees then. But certain sensitive committees and they, like the judicial appointment and like the parliamentary appointment and some other committees then where they deal with the audit and stuff like that. In some countries then pass a law where the head of the committee, even if the proportion, let's say you get majority of composition of the membership na the committee na SLPP because they got a majority, then the second na APC, then the third na NGC or any other party, then compose about the chair should go to the opposition.
Okay, just hold on, sir.
Yes.
That's in the way they talk. Just hold on, because I know about the parliamentary system and all the rest of it.
I left-handed for
even if you have, like for instance, what they talk in the UK, we have that system. One of the key committee in the UK, and it happens in Ghana, now the Public Accounts Committee, right, which is always chaired by somebody from the opposition. But let me tell you where the thing lies. As you say, it's under our standing orders. The committee then gets membership based on the percentage of votes. So even if the chairman is from the opposition party, when the committee don't meet with and deliberate, then they vote according to simple majority. So then they carry the majority. In the UK, what happens, even if they vote in simple majority, they allow the dissenting views to be put into the report. To say, even though the majority carry the way, but these are the dissenting views. I just want to make another one just to buttress your point. One of the key things Remy thinks in Parliament, and it comes to a present day situation, like I worked for a parliamentary committee as a committee specialist, which means I was dealing with advising the MPs on technical matters relating to transport and the environment. Now, one of the precedents we'll get, when a committee makes the report is presented to Parliament. And Parliament must debate that report within 14 days. Right? Now, we have a situation that being presently, the La Telopia's case. Right? The report don't go to President. President don't send it to Parliament. Parliament make a known to we. But Parliament is under no hurry for debate. So that is one area where the weakness is. Because when such reports are presented to power, you get a statutory time limit under which they for debate that particular issue. If you look now, even when we get the deputy speaker now in under the Sierra Leone system, parliamentary order, when a tower where the Public Accounts Committee now then for review all Auditor General report. Now if they look at 2022-2023 report. So even that Auditor General's report said, then get forget the statutory time where Parliament for discussion.
For debate
is so wish.
Debate
so these are the things that my own recommendation so get for change. Because their reports and they're very timely. Why up till now, when you take the long investigation, you understand, Parliament don't sit on the back for discuss that report they will relate to the either endorsement of the Auditor General or disposing of our responsibility. So now these are the loopholes because now what's in the app, we come back to what they talk about, whereby a committee can summon a minister to come. Because now the minister they choose whose term if for come Parliament.
Yes.
And if they're party leader, and I'll just let this now as a simple tool in a direct experience, because I've got experience contacting chairs of Parliament on very important issue, right? Where the chair say, well, we'll call you that involved, then it just go quiet. In fact, on that same issue, one of the ministers tell me, say, me not sabi but government business, la pull much day. So these are the issues, because Parliament must have then change their stand in order. Because that stand in order, nine are the rules of Parliament, the do's and the don'ts. So we can forget time limit to some of their reports in there, and also how Parliament they take decision on key issues. I'll stop here for now and let the debate for continue.
Okay, may I interject briefly? Mr. Mengot, for both just what you say, this is where we get back to draftsmanship. And usually, under a constitutional system, laws that are vague, like which to me, I can see vagueness in that law there, the courts forget the ability for declare it invalid, and the law all that exercise there goes to waste. For example, if Parliament get the time limit with them for debate, and we say Parliament now they take the time, the till Pierce example you give. What they should have done for add to that law, because there's no point giving time limit if there are no consequences for not complying with the time limit.
Thank you. That's another point I wanted to hit on, but there are other areas.
What the law should have said was, if within that time limit the Parliament no act, then the recommendation will be considered null and void. It just dies. So I don't think the BO government will want that to happen, but they don't look and say no consequence. Parliament can take the time, nothing will happen, so they just let it lay there. So the draftsmanship, the law itself is just badly written because they not come up with any way for make it go into effect and just draw the left and open ended. Now my observation, that's my own observation based upon your analysis. This is what I'm saying.
That's a good point. But the other aspect again,
well in place, sir. Well in place.
The other aspect again, we need reform within the House of Parliament is the because the Speaker of Parliament, especially me, I observed under this Abbas Bundoyon regime, it been so they abuse the parliamentary orders, the standard way they don't define. Say how Parliament will be run, how matters should be taken, how committees, members of Parliament should be allocated to committees, and so on and so forth. He abused it with impunity.
Mr. Suma, sorry for interrupt. We get one more caller because collectively caller this, so get an important point. Lord, take this one call, then we round up now. You go do round up, and Mr. Shillong will do Mr. Dumion. Mr. Shillong, we can get that caller. They'll take one more call.
Hello, caller. What you know your name? Where's the call from?
Yes, now me again. I don't need to try for. I just give it points.
All right, go ahead.
First of all, I just want to comment again. We can just talk about Abbas Bundu. This all now the effect of the result of the short-sightedness of the politician. And as Kuruma, if you meet say a retired judge, then they make a speaker. But because they look far, if you say no more, if it's in power forever, Now make it out a party person.
Mhm.
Now they continue to take this show. Because today, even I listen to one commentary of the parliamentary where Abu Kabo they talk about a roadway they don't count from 2018 and they put at the budget. Now they try to object say this road there and the count all the time, widen the count all the time where they don't fix the road. Tawa when SLPP post he can for justify the reason. So now you go for continue. Another party go for come, it go continue the same. But the main point why we want put now why Mr. Mengot they talk about 38 and 38A. 38A na the main way for make election at the country na the constituency. But to think about 2002 they want make election where they want use the constitution for make election because in a lawyer I know one broke the law. Now make it go 38A. That time the constituency is not there. So now make it say he put them they say if constituency is not there, then can use the PR so that they go allow in 2002 for make election under PR. That is the reason they put on this. So it not mean say where he did it, now for take precedent to. Now make a call for that. So info only be used if we get
In
alala
extenuating
something
circumstances.
happen.
Yes.
We know able constituency not there, then use them. But because you talk again about the judgment of the court, the judgment wouldn't pass. It mainly based on, according to the lawyers, the judge, he not talk about the merit of the case to the extent to in just talks the president get the right in just that judgment. All the good in Baku. Then talk about say yes, the president get the right for declare PR. And so ECSL would not get the chance for do what they get for do. Then government, the president get the right for declare. Now in the main judgment when they pass, he talk plenty more than 20 hours. I don't know how many hours talk. But the main thing where he put there, he say the president yes, he get the right for declare PR, but them not go further for look say ECSL they are not mandated to make new constituencies. We get existing constituencies. If not to say that we they say for making new for where they don't collapse or they don't expire, that means they make new. You can just renew them. Say okay, let the same constituency then continue. But because the SLP no say, then they get the vote at the north and the western area where they give them seats. Now make them insist say then they call the PR. And that thing then Umaru 449 put under the president in mouth or in head. From that thing, the president say he use them. Now that point I want to make as a final point. So thank you for giving me the opportunity.
Yeah, and very quickly along that line there too, the court, the lawyers, of course, the court can't step in. Somebody need to take the case to court. But with all this confusion with this 38 and 38A, we get two laws then which seem to be somewhat contradictory. Now the court for make a definitive declaration or decision as to which one is right or which one may be the intent of the law. But if we left and so, I mean, this again, I don't understand because the court, they get a role now. Therefore, make sure say then cut down on the confusion and the undue advantage of one political party over the other to the detriment of the country. Because when they allow that, the country in the end they suffer. So me think say the lawyers they need for go to court, they need for take up the issue. The issue should not be whether the president get the right or the power. The issue should be the reasonableness of the two contradictory laws, whether for them for coexist or whether one should be stricken. I think to me that should be the issue. But go ahead, Mr. Jesmed.
Well, this one also boils down to the previous area we've been mentioned about the control where the executive branch gets over the judiciary. So much so that then they always rule in favor of what the executive branch wants to do. So irrespective of what the circumstances where they prevail, irrespective of what the constitution say, irrespective of what the law say, as long as the executive branch want them, and as Kuruma say, I go fire my vice president, even though now an elected position. But the judiciary, now in for determine now one day. Now in the constitution, we all layman will not sabi law self. You read that constitution, they know say it was wrong for him to fire the vice president. But because he get power, control over the judiciary, all man set much, then exactly rule in favor of him. And that is the same thing that is existing now, even with respect to this PR system. The judges have no leverage. They have no power. They are just there in name. It's as good as even scrapping the entire judiciary, saying you're not relevant. It's either we fix it or we scrap it. But it has to be fixed. And the only way we go fix them. Now, when you get somebody who can to power with a determination for leave a legacy, say no to power me want. I want left a legacy. I want set up a standard where they say what die. 100 years from now, the people of Salone they benefit from them. And you will never get that inside APC. You will never get that inside SLPP. That I can put my life to it. If now inside APC or SLPP that person they emerge for be president, they will never change the system. Never. Because power is like a drug. Once you are addicted to it, you will not want to let go. Now, only a transformational leader from outside will come with the determination and say, this time you don't focus. You reach that power, they begin for making structural changes there. Because a major structural changes that we talk about. So, especially with the way then they abuse the way parliaments run. The parliamentarians are as good as nothing. Man, you go to a parliament, half of the time they don't idle and they do nothing. Laws then they were supposed for review. We don't done there from 1940 something, 30 different laws they did in Salone and not before changing. Areas then the way the circumstances don't change. We then for make certain laws them for fix certain things them. They need for the them. So that comes to what Mr. Mengo be mentioned earlier. Would they draft the laws then for the parliamentarians? Then they still depend on the executive branch for do that.
Yeah, exactly.
So that should be scrapped. Each political party set of parliamentarians forget their own law draft in the parliament itself as a body supposed for them their own legal section where they draft laws for them. Exclusively for parliament, we don't get nothing for do with the executive branch. But again, if not the executive branch they determine would I for work for parliament, would I go be clerk, whatever, this and that. How do you expect that to change? So that purse string where the executive branch gets, and the composition of the political parties, then the way they structure, where they're gonna get no control, nobody not able for control them. In fact, PPRC now one of the agency that they will seem for be as useless as anything in the real sense of the word than just the existing name. Because over the years, each party in power, they use PPRC as a tool for whip opposition party the way they want for silent. So, what is the relevance of PPRC? If PPRC, you take case, a political party get internal rift, like how we get internal rift, so inside NGC, you take case to PPRC, whether they, by law, now then for be the arbiter for address situation. And that case they favor or they against the interest of the ruling party, when I go sit down and thy kingdom come. You know they say thing. Me, the first time where I get issue with PPRC, where the matter no way name, I take and I jump PPRC after PPRC, say but when I go try it, I take the matter straight to court. Within a court, the chairman for PPRC, they talk to the judge, they tell him waiting in your opinion for influence the decision of the judge against the issue we put in a court. Unfortunately, I've been getting some useless lawyer where you they tell him something, say this and that way name. So what me do? Bruh, nothing they will have case standard they tell you so. The judge then said they cut the case to 1 o'clock afternoon time. Me don't put me fact them together, don't give me lawyer, say present them to this judge. my lawyer, you not even care self. You say, yeah, the system that's already rotten, not to politics no more. Now every aspect of society, the professional side. I know they call a lawyer name no more, but me no, I know we ever can near that kind of lawyer again. But in any case, guess what? Now I get a new fact then. I can go straight to the judging chamber. I go put an 8 o'clock morning, now put on a desk, let them get them. The judge look at the fact that I don't present. The judge already making ruling. You know, say where you rule, it write an opinion for back up your ruling. You understand? Eh? For justify your ruling, they make reference to certain sizes that the law then can stop them there for justify your ruling. But I will me presenting them fact then to the judge. How for rule? How for change that ruling there and rule against me? Where the fact then clear. The judge find it difficult for rule against me. So what did the judge do? He delay the tinte. We're supposed to meet at 12 o'clock and move on to 1 o'clock from 10. We don't meet at 2 o'clock. Where can at 2 o'clock? He ruled in my favor because the facts were so overwhelming. But in opinion, in contrary to in ruling, because in ruling where been done give before, now against me, the opinion will support that ruling there. But because of the short time frame, it can change the ruling which is short, but the opinion will take time for let it rewrite them. So the opinion they go one way, the ruling they go one way. Salora Tibra, as it to God.
Anyway, thank you very much. We don't reach time now. Lord give Mr. Shilon as the main man for getting round of the world. We say goodbye. Because at least we don't get extra time now.
Yeah.
Okay, well, basically, what I need to do is to thank Mr. Jesmed Suma for coming and share in thought, in vision, and in your expertise in terms of the way forward for Sierra Leone, which I always try to tell listeners them. That's all we care about. We're not too care about the party politics aspect of situation in Sierra Leone. In fact, I am among the very few, many years ago, when NPRC kind of power, the very BO government them, are they on record among me on contemporaries in here that I had said one of the biggest mistakes NPRC made was not to have banned
APC and SLPP.
for
Exactly.
good at the
If
country.
you mean do that, that would have been a much big difference.
It would have been a wonderful thing. But this is an opportunity where they miss. I don't know if the opportunity will come back. But anybody who care anything about Sierra Leone, we must face the fact that then two parties are not do with so much harm. And then lack the fitness, the competence for lead this country forward. Both of them. I mean, there's no if about it. If you care about Sierra Leone, APC not capable because of the structural setup of the party system.
Thank you. Yeah, Mr. Shilon, what you sabi? The structural setup of the party. That's where the problem is. And that exists in other political parties, even in NGC. The structural setup, you don't change that.
Well, you gave an example of the issuance of party symbol to people, and one of the best examples that one day. Let the people decide. Don't leave the issuance of symbol to the agbagbas of the party. Let there be some kind of a people's participation as to who gets the symbol. That way, it will be fairer and it will be more representative of the people. Because now, watching the end up in the parliament, the people who end up in the parliament for both parties are not people necessarily elected or selected by the people who are they supposed to be representing. They are people selected by the higher echelon of each political party. So APC, for example, is the what you call them, the two, the man want to be ambassador to Ghana, but was serving also as the APC chairman. What's his name? Yeah, Mr. Yansene. Or what the other man want to be Anes Kuruma in father-in-law and minister, all that kind of Minkailo something.
Minkailo. Yeah, Minkailo. Ba.
Okay, you see, so now then they appoint basically under that party structure there, and at the same thing happened at the SLPP. So with the do self a disfavor, someone one of call us call and say, well, I think I fully get what the caller they say, but I think it raised an issue one to that with the raise. This caller they say, well, the president get the power of appointment, so he's not going to give it up. And Mr. Suma tried to correct that, say no. There are certain appointments that are in place for a president to do, but they talk strictly. So nobody's trying to take away the power of appointments from the president. But there are certain areas where some guardrails need to be put in place for
Yes.
for fair outcome of the resolution of disputes. So that's what I think. What would they talk about? So I think this caller say, well, I don't think anybody will get that power. They will give it up. Yeah, certain people are honorable enough to give it up, but we're not to
That's
say
why.
we're not to say it's been illegally used. We just say that power enough for exist, but it does exist, and everybody is taking advantage of it. That's what we're saying. But so I know I appreciate Mr. Suma in presence. We stir up a lot of important issues. Of course, as always, I always appreciate Mr. Mengot in expertise in a lot of areas concerning governance. So with that, I just pass now over to Mr. Mengot. I say good night for the evening.
Well, fumble them in a good night. The only thing I would say, Parliament get away for show say and get the teeth. I mean, I throw a challenge to the lady nation here. I want to see them as a matter of urgency. Let them examine the Laratelopias in case. Justice delay is justice denied. The other two way Parliament can do for me, because we don't get a long absence of the Chief Justice, where the President be announced a temporary Chief Justice. If Parliament can come up and look into that issue and tell you what's in the happen, because these are two key positions in our country, the Chief Justice and also the Auditor General. With that, I will say to my people in Tata, thank you for listening. Until we meet again, be safe, have a productive week, and take good care of yourself. Saying goodbye
Mr.
from
Suma, do you
cold.
have a closing?
Yes,
Right, sir.
I want to tell everybody thanks for the attention with Ngiwi and Mr. Mengo and Mr. Shilon for my own depth of knowledge and experience, who I also share in addition to what we don't share, especially in that area we get for do it, the way the parliament is structured, then temporary appointment they are with the president they make when you're in an acting position. Once you're in an acting position, nobody know the question again. You can do it for how many donkey years. They know the way name. All that side, don't forget it's a limit in terms of how long somebody can be in an acting position when temporarily appointed by the president, because then so they can bypass parliamentary authority. And then the violations of the parliamentary standards where the Speaker of Parliament can wield. The parliamentarians then forget the power for sue the Speaker of Parliament to the court for a violation of certain parliamentary norms and standards, especially the area of voting, when they say vote by voice, hey, nay, no. We forget a record of each parliamentarian own voting. They say the nay have it or the whatever have it. That only all that kind of abuses, then they go see say that 3 person no more go make noise. The others will say, oh, the nay has the bill has passed. And they know the way name. Even if a member of parliament rise say no, I want the votes to be counted. If they overlook and they even clock on herself. That pauperism they were introduced now the executive branch, and that same pauperism they run the House of Parliament with. Then they take benefits there, then look at specific parliamentarian. Okay, now you get a motokade, now you get this one, so this one will not get nothing. You're not gonna decide for go complain. So all anything and the only way they go change. Now, when you get a transformational leader where they come, you see that they come with that determination they for restructure the entire system of government. The one other side where I not been mentioned, what one for mentioned earlier. Now, this need for do a forensic audit of the entire executive branch, the entire civil service, so that we're able to delineate between professional civil servants and political appointees. Over the years, they don't blur that line there. If they see person the kind of power today, if they get a political appointee, if they threaten, if they bully civil servants then, to the point that if they kick civil servant then out, they're not going to no line of recourse. We need to get lost then within the system, where somebody go able for sue, not only the government as a whole, but the very ministry and the minister will go fire you unjustly on account of something because they will political power, we're in a political appointee. So for know exactly the one and clearly when a political appointee as in lost election, so they nobody not for ask them questions, then for pack them punches them and get out. Civil servant then when a professional servant then for be protected, so nobody know who can't bully them. All them changes then it will never happen under an APC leadership or SLPP leadership. That's a clear fact. We need for know. We only need a leader where they can with that determination. Say this, I don't want power. I just want can dismantle the power structure so that the people can get away for control government. Right now, the government, the people in the government. In fact, Mr. Shillon, I even mentioned last Friday, where he say, it's like say there is a conspiracy between the executive branch and the three branches of government and the against the people. All the three branches of government influenced by the executive branch, then they wage a war against the people of Sierra Leone. When the entire budget they come, we annual budget is between 800 million to $1 billion dollars. 800 million to $1 billion. The one and the executive branch, they use that post there for bribe the legislature by giving them fringe benefits, give them all kind of benefits them, and then use them there as a leash for punish them and they will know they dance to the tune by denying them. They're not going to no line of recourse. The same thing and they do with the judiciary. Use the purse string for influence waiting they happen at the judiciary by determining whose kind of mutka they get, how many servants they get, how many security they get, and then kind of stuff then they. If we not get a leader where they can with that mindset, they say this and they can't dismantle the power structure they. Wallahi billahi, we own generation, we go. Salo not change, we begin and come, they meet in the same way, it not change. Until we able to get that determination, they will get a leader. We go take that power structure there. Now, the other power structure we're not talk about, and the financial power structure, where they extend to the private sector. Right now, I can give you one more specific power structure where then they extend them through the same executive branch. Somebody when a women's leader for the SLPP party, now Lumley, bully somebody, beat the person, then in she done back. Now somebody reported even before I come. Anyway, beat the person because that party in a power. He called police na Congo na Lumley police station. Then police can arrest everybody. Luckily that person they get fumble in England. Now the fumble say, then don't beat me fumble. Then the person will beat and call on back. Now, if you not left that person there, and they say, can I go police? Me lawyer go can come meet you. Now the police free them. But what are they trying to explain now is their power structure where they exist at the that the executive branch extend to the political party, it will go to the rank and file. They all they will them because they just make a phone call. The police are all afraid. So that structure there, if we not change them. Salo, sorry, brah. Without much ado, thank you very much, Sierra Leone'S.
Thank you very much, sir. We appreciate your presence.
Yes, sir.
Hope to see you soon.
Yes, sir.
Take care.
Mr. Mengo.
So that